You are listening to the Cattle Call podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of ZenTech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call podcast with Jim and Rocco from ZenTech Consultants. I am Jim, your fighting through a cold today host, and with me, as always, is my partner.
It's Rocco. I was going to say, yeah, you just does sound a little froggy-ish.
Still a little froggy-ish today, no doubt about it. I blame Rocco. He gave it to me through the interwebs. He's evil like that. He's the definition of embedding viruses in his emails, and he sends me so many every day. I blame him.
That's what I like to do.
There you go.
It's called a remote friend.
There you go. He's a remote friend. That's what he is. Spreading his diseases. All right. And because you got me sick, Rocco, I'll make you and Ken suffer through the engineering joke of the week. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Ready.
All right. How do you get an engineer to work your project for free?
Ow.
You just tell them the job is impossible to do. There you go. Engineers will take that challenge every time. All right, folks. So as you guys probably already guessed, we have a guest on the show today. Ken D'Amato, the CEO and founder of SmarTwin AI, is back with us again to talk about the positive side of the AI for construction world. So, Ken, thank you for being back again, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thank
Always
you so
a
much,
pleasure.
Jim and Rocco.
You don't have to thank
My
Rocco. It's not
pleasure.
important. All right, folks. Now, look, I know we have been talking a lot about AI this year on the podcast, but I figure so is everybody else, so I don't really feel too bad about it. It seems to be the big topic of the generation here. But, Ken is here today because he's actively working in the AI for construction arena. And he's seeing some really positive benefits coming from it, or so he tells me. So I wanted to give everyone a fair shot to hear, his side of things rather than my old, stick in the mud grumpiness about these newfangled devil tools. But before we get into that, though, let's give Ken a chance to introduce himself to everybody. So, Ken, why don't you tell folks a little bit about your personal background and what led you to start SmarTwin, right? And what's your primary focus these days?
Oh, sure. Thanks so much. I've been kind of an evangelist of technology for quite a while now, and about 20 years now, in the early days of BIM in New York City. So I was part of all the BIM groups that kind of advocated BIM. And so from there, I started to sell the software, started to sell the training, and then helped construction companies and architects, engineers get a handle on, what was this newfangled BIM thing called? Kind of just like today with AI, and what is it all about, And, so building information modeling is kind of like what I cut my teeth on, in terms of consulting with the AEC industry. And then I went from there to getting into some virtual reality and also augmented reality, mixed reality, where it was about training and things like that. But more importantly, really had my own company where we modeled some pretty large projects like the Nordstrom's flagship store on 57th Street. We also worked on the Grand Central Station concourse, and we did a number of NYU hospitals, everything from scanning to getting that model created and making that model work, and then managing the project with the subcontractors and doing the clash detections and leveraging all the things that you do with BIM. And then I got the AI bug and the digital twin bug. That's why the company's name is SmarTwin.
Hey, I don't know if it's a good idea to use the word bug and AI in the same sentence. I don't think that's not gonna pitch your case well.
Well, it's more of a feature.
Okay, it's more of a I like it.
So basically, I got the feature disease, and I really got sticking with that technology, bleeding edge, where it's more bleeding than edge, and I really enjoy working with people and helping the construction customers that I have, who become friends too, which is great. because it's good industry. Because you're in an industry that's so difficult and it's so time controlled and pressure loaded that you really do become good friends with the people you work with. Yeah, that's where I got. And now I'm seeing that people are coming to me and saying, hey, what is this AI thing and what's going on?
Okay, fair enough. All right, so I will say, one of the areas I guess that just doesn't seem to be a good fit for AI in my mind, is the construction space, right? I think of construction as, I think most people do. I think of it in terms of like, real world physical labor and installation, right? And AI to my head is really, it's relegated to more of the purely digital and theoretical world of the AI intrawebs, right? That's just how my old man brain works. But Ken has been telling me that I'm actually wrong on that, and that there is huge benefit in AI for construction folks. And he keeps telling me that I need to think of AI going beyond just the initial design phases and consider how it can impact real construction challenges. And that's kind of what we want to focus on here today. So Ken, explain it to us, right? What are the biggest construction challenges, I guess, that AI can help address, right? And can you give us kind of an actual example of how you've seen it used in the real world?
Oh yeah, for sure, certainly. AI really can address like a lot of critical challenges in construction, and it really ultimately, and this is what you try to keep in mind, is that you're trying to lead yourself to increase efficiency, safety, and cost savings, right? Because those are the key things. So one of the major challenges is addressing like how to optimize project management with AI, and that's the job of AI, is to analyze vast amounts of data and provide valuable insights for project planning, for scheduling, for resource allocation. So as an example, good implementation is AI-powered project management systems that automatically adjust schedules based on like real-time data, like weather forecasts, material availability, and workforce productivity, and availability of a workforce. If you've got a particular contractor that's maybe something happened, maybe there's like some kind of major storm in their area and they can't get all their people on site, or maybe something else. Maybe they're all out sick, but
hey, we're talking to Rocco.
Yeah, right. So, it really results in, these projects, when you're gathering this data and putting it all together and making it work for you, that these projects can be completed on time, ahead of schedule, and within budget.
Okay, not bad. That's a good class. So Rocco, let's take that into our terms, right? In terms of our client base, are you still seeing that most folks are looking at AI from the business and the design end, or are you seeing more construction firms beginning to look into AI?
Mostly from the business end at this stage. I think we're all keeping a pulse for sure as to what AI is and where it can help. But most of my conversations, are around, more from the business angle. I think, and I don't think Ken would disagree here. Oftentimes we're pulling the construction industry, right? They've been so far behind in technology that even getting them to use some of the basic tools is a struggle. And so AI, I think, is an area that a lot of people are keeping a pulse on, but not everybody's diving into it at the moment, at least from my experience.
That's fair.
Makes sense.
So look, I think the basic concept, I think, that everybody can kind of see for AI related to the construction world, it relates mainly, I guess, to kind of integrating the reality capture tools, right? To things like point clouds and photogrammetry and so on. Right. To we can verify existing conditions and maybe as built info throughout the life cycle of a job and get estimates on best use of volumetrics and blah blah blah. But I think one area that Ken has talked to Rocco and I about, which I find really interesting, it's related to site safety with AI. And I will say that's an arena that I really had not ever thought much about in regard to this new AI invasion. So Ken, how do you see that working, right? How is AI helping to improve site safety for construction workers?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. Very important too, because safety is like job number one, really. And I was just when you talk about some of the things that you rattled off, I was at a large construction company yesterday in Manhattan, and he kind of was approaching things the same way with the same perspective you have, and it really is about looking at like kind of holistically everything, but looking at like the real important things and kind of the low hanging fruit of what can I have a real impact on quickly, and what's really important first, and safety is among that. So it's a certain challenge for safety, enhancing it, but by using predictive analytics with AI, you can identify like the potential hazards before they occur. And one good instance is developing use of computer vision systems or cameras and so on, and monitoring the construction sites. That's for safety compliance, improper use of equipment, workers not wearing protective gear, so it recognizes when that happens. And that kind of proactive approach really reduces a lot of the number of accidents and injuries on site.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that it can actually, see when people don't have their hard hats on, or they're not wearing their reflective vests or belts or whatever.
Right.
That's kind of neat. So, look, I think that, AI has drawn the interest that it has recently, not just because it's like, oh, it's the cool new thing, right? But I do think that companies in particular see it as a potential tool for filling in what is our industry's most glaring problem, and that is the worker shortage, right? We have talked about it a lot on this show before, kind of about the lack of skilled personnel in the construction field, and that we're facing as an industry a mass retirement of over 50% of the current workforce within the next decade, and I think that the idea of being able to do more with less, right? To automate this, get the AI involved. It's a fact of life for all of us now. And I think that, AI promises to make each worker, right, substantially more productive. And that's very appealing to, companies who are facing those shortages. I am, however, not convinced that this is going to translate directly to the construction trades, but Ken actually has a different view. So why don't you answer that one, Ken? How do you think AI is going to help address labor shortage issues in the construction world?
Yeah. Thanks for that question. That's a good one too. So it really can be a game changer, right? Because every time I go to the building Congress, they're always talking about labor shortage. Every time I go to like an event or a luncheon or whatever, the New York Building Congress, so good people there, but they're facing the same problem. So the thing about AI is you can automate repetitive and tedious tasks that would, take a long time and take a lot of hours out of the manpower staff and teams, and kind of lets you streamline things, and also let these people focus on what they really need to focus on instead of kind of getting caught up in other things. So that can help you, just from a manpower amplification standpoint, allow you to not need as many people on site or within the office, and kind of reduce your dependency on the large workforce. It's like do more or do more with less people. So that can be really good. And then also you can by enhancing safety too, with the monitoring we were just talking about, with potential hazards. You kind of reduce accidents, and that kind of alleviates the need for additional manpower to oversee safety. You got more eyes, and you've got the need, like less people having to like act on it, because you're using AI to keep an eye on things, whereas you don't have to have a human being. You can take that salary and you can apply it to somebody who might actually have to do a physical labor or something like that. So that helps, and just using AI in your workflows can just certainly help. When you're using AI agents to do some of the work for you, you're going to have a smaller workforce, because it's truly taking care of some of those repetitive tasks.
Okay. Which, look, at the end of the day, right, so long as people have places to go and food to eat and houses, that's what AI is supposed to do, make the workload easier. So,
right.
All right.
Get home on time.
There you go. All right, folks, I tell you what, let's take a break to get in a word from today's sponsor. And when we get back, I want to talk with Ken about current AI trends and where he sees it developing in the future. So stand by. We will be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. The sponsor for today's episode of the Cattle Call Podcast is Matterport. Now, you guys know Matterport. They've been all over the world. We see them all the time getting, 3D laser scans and photogrammetric digital twins, for all of our real estate development houses and all of that great stuff we see out there. But what I really want you guys to understand about Matterport is that it does so much more than just those static models. One of the really amazing things that you can do with Matterport is you can integrate links and hyperlinks to dashboards and controls. We can link to videos. We can link to warranty information, manufacturing information. Think of it like this. If you could go into a digital twin model, have your clients and your coworkers walk through it, pick a piece of equipment, click on it, and get all the information on the make, the model, the manufacturer, when it was last updated, how much does it cost, how do I order a new one, anything that you could conceive of, whether it's in a manufacturing space, a facility management system, or on the construction job site. We can do all of that and so much more in Matterport. It's not just 3D scanning, it's a lot more. So Rocco, why don't you tell these folks how we work with Matterport and how they can reach out to find more?
Yeah, whether it's the integration with Bluebeam, products like Bluebeam or Procore, or even Adobe, we can help you from the consulting standpoint. If you're looking for help on the scanning end, we can help. If you're looking to buy the cameras, we can help. So feel free to reach out to us. Website is zentechconsultants.net. Give us a ring, 866-824-4459, or drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
There you go, folks. Matterport, so much more than you ever thought it was, and sponsoring the Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking with Ken D'Amato of SmarTwin about AI for the construction space today. And in the first half, we talked about the benefits that it promises, right? And in this half, I want to kind of get into what Ken is seeing AI accomplish today and where he thinks it can go tomorrow. Now, look, listeners of this program know that I am very skeptical of the AI craze right now because I really believe that most of it is just marketing hype around what is actually machine learning and not real AI. I'm also very concerned about the unfettered access that these tech giants are garnering from all of our business and personal data. Still, I want to give everyone both sides of the spectrum, and Ken, who works heavily in this space, is going to tell us why Jim is wrong. And that's okay, right? So Ken, with my concerns in mind, what are the key factors that contractors should keep in mind when they're looking to implement AI for their projects?
Right. So I can definitely understand why you've got kind of a overhyped feeling about AI. And one of the key things before I kind of, jump on project factors and things, you got to look at what's the difference between AI and machine learning, right? And you got to kind of, get a sense of, why are people like just throwing those terms around interchangeably, So if you look at just as a quick primer before I jump into that, is like AI is really it's the overall machine system that performs the tasks, right? That normally require human intelligence. So things like language, things like recognizing patterns or those photos that you see of cats, and making decisions on those, and then solving problems too. So it encompasses a kind of a wide range of technologies, and that includes machine learning, right? So, natural language processing, computer vision and robotics, all of these things all go, kind of under the basket of AI, and machine learning is part of that. Now, machine learning, on the other hand, is like a subset, right? So you kind of focus on algorithms, you focus on data, and you focus on making predictions and decisions about the data that you have. So really, machine learning models do a whole lot in improving the performance of what the output that you get from the AI chat bot or whatever agent you're using. So where machine learning is a key component of AI, then that's what's used to create these intelligent systems. You know, um, really, AI is just a kind of the broader field that encompasses these various technologies, and including machine learning. Yeah, so that's the differences between AI and machine learning, and that does cause some confusion. So to kind of get back to implementation in construction, and what contractors should keep in mind, there's a few things. And what I'll do is I'll go through like 1, 2, 3, and through 7 first, and just kind of hit the 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 clear objectives, and then I'll go back through and kind of expand on them. So as a clear objective, you definitely want to define your objectives, right? And look, like I was saying before about kind of going after what's easily going to have a big impact. And so start with those things. And then you also want to define your data quality and privacy. You want to understand your IT safety and how you want to approach that. Then you also want to start small and, scale gradually. Maybe start with a pilot project, and then very important to get your team and your employee buy-in, and also for them to understand this is a collaborative effort, and also it needs training. So then also choosing the right AI solutions helps. And that's where, all of this is what I assist companies with. And then ethical, responsible AI use, you want to make sure, it's being used responsibly. And also you want to monitor constantly progress on a weekly basis, see how things are going. So with defining clear objectives, excuse me. Yeah, I know, Bill, you've got a lot. I mean, Jim, you've got a lot of objectives and objections. So
Yeah. I do.
yeah, it's okay. No, it's okay. That's what new technology is like, man. You gotta be, suspect and think about it. And it's always like trust but verify, right? So before like you integrate any AI project, you do want to define these clear objectives, and you want to have a clear understanding of what you're looking to achieve and what you want to optimize on. Some really good things to pick up, and in fact, I talk about this every day. A good thing to work on is like scheduling, anything to reduce costs, like safety, which you were just talking about, and enhancing efficiency in project workflow. And with each of those, you define specific goals that'll kind of guide you through your process. And then with data quality and privacy, data is your lifeblood of what you do, and you want to make sure you've got high quality data. You want to prioritize also your data privacy and security, and the security of your customers' data that you're working with, or the project data. And yeah, like you said, the tech giants are accessing this sensitive data,
Yes,
and
they are. And
yeah,
some of
you want
those
you want
licenses
to,
that you sign for AI usage are
yeah.
frighteningly biased.
Right. But and not to defend them, but it's a little like going on Google and searching and finding something that you're interested in, and then they use that. Now, do they know that you're interested in Thai restaurants? But do they really care? But what they do is they aggregate that with so many other people and try to get a sense of how many people are looking for Thai restaurants. But still, that said, you want to be this is your business. You don't want to get caught in a situation where you're not understanding your user agreements with these companies. So anyway, moving on like to collaboration and training. It's very important. That's what we offer. We offer training as well, and there you can also leverage a lot of the companies that are creating platforms like Autodesk, like Procore, like Primavera, and various other companies. And Autodesk Construction Cloud is starting to move towards AI as well. Excuse me. So so you do want to choose the right AI solutions, and that's where we come in. We help with that, and like I said, continuous monitoring is, having a every week, kind of scrum on, what's working, what's not, and how to improve it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so look, I have to imagine, right, that on both sides of the AI discussion, right, spanning from evangelists like Ken to doomsayers like me, there's a lot of misunderstanding, I think, on both sides as to what AI's role and capabilities really are in this space. Look, I freely admit that part of me believes that AI is going to take all of my financial info and they're going to use Zentek's money to build Skynet one of these days, and the Terminator is going to show up at my front door. And on the other side, I'm sure that Ken will acknowledge, right, that a lot of what you see out there in the media about AI it's just pure hype with no realistic backing to their current claims, right? That they're just selling shares and pumping up their personal values. And I think that the truth, as always, it lies somewhere in the middle, right? So, Ken, what do you think about that? I mean, what are some common misconceptions about AI in general and AI automation in construction, right? And how do people kind of work around those?
Oh yeah, well, there's certainly a lot to dig through there. Fear of job loss is kind of the first thing that people get a sense of and have a concern with. Especially just with everything in the media, it's like taking over jobs and stuff like that. It's definitely a misconception, and when you think about the automations and the things that that these take over and the things that you normally do that are very repetitive, and it's like, oh, I hate doing that. If you could have AI do that, it's going to solve a lot of your work, hours that you kind of feel are wasted and where you're not concentrating on what's important. So the main thing is, if AI can get you in front of people more and in front of the people you work with and collaborate with more, that's a good thing. Being stuck behind your desk doing some repetitive task is nothing to fear losing, right? So it's not going to take your job in that sense. It's going to help your job. And then just kind of a lack of understanding of AI. It is a complex subject, but there really are a lot of tools out there and solutions that are really making a difference. And a lot of these platforms that you work with already, like Windows, like all the tools that construction companies work with, they're all implementing AI underneath the hood. So, you can be rest assured that you're going to see AI in the tools that you use every day. Is it a magic solution? There's some magic there. It's pretty impressive, especially when you're like, write me an email with a warm tone to kind of tell somebody that this job is delayed. So get me out of this situation.
There you go.
Yeah. So, right. So that's good. And then, of course, people have, and especially your IT department, has data privacy concerns. So, that's a whole ball of wax, and, you can start pulling on that thread, no doubt, or whatever. Yeah. So that's important. And of course, resistance to change, but we saw that with BIM, we saw that with many other things, in construction.
You saw that with CAD when it first came out too.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember those days.
Exactly.
So, all right, that's fair. All right. So Rocco, what kind of discussions are you seeing around AI with our clients, right? And what areas do you find that they're beginning to look at it from the most, right? Is it in, digital dashboards, business intelligence, reality capture? What are they really looking into with it?
Yeah, just a plug here for a previous podcast that we also did on AI in CAD. A couple weeks ago, we had Todd Rogers with Walter P. Moore on, and that was an interesting podcast. If you guys are following this one, you should definitely go back and listen to that one.
I listened to that. It was a very interesting podcast.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Todd's always a great guest.
He certainly is. But what I'm seeing is it's not so much in the CAD or construction technology space. It's like I was saying before, it is more on the business end. We're starting to see a lot more people talking to us about Power BI and the automation that can be done from that end. Like I said before, I feel like we're pulling people in the construction field, to get more current. I think the larger companies are moving with the trend and following all this, but a lot of the smaller companies, we talk to companies that are still using pen and paper to do estimating.
It
So
still happens every day.
there's a huge disparity between where people are at with technology usage, and there's a long way to go.
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
always.
one of the funniest things I saw, even just walking down the street as I passed the construction site, I saw a guy with pen and paper.
Yeah.
Holding an iPad.
Yep. On the iPad, sketching things onto the paper that he can then take a picture of with the iPad to send back to the office. It's like, sometimes you got to wonder.
Exactly.
Too funny. So Ken, let me ask you then. What are you seeing as the latest, newest big trend in AI for this industry, and where do you see the construction AI going in the future?
Yeah, so for really like the latest trends, and it's a stepped approach, right? And like I keep on going back to is take the things that you can really have an impact on. So I would say people are looking at safety because there's a lot at stake there, and there's also there could be a serious amount of money that will torpedo a project. So people are looking at safety, and people are thinking about scheduling. So anything that is very risky, and then also anything that is very time consuming. So those are the trends there, and where I see it going in the future is where you're going to see a construction company that's got $1 billion project, and it's going to be the size of a company that normally would only do $100 million projects. So that's kind of where I see it going. You're going to see just a lot of supercharging of companies that can deal with these bigger projects, and that's just about efficiency and productivity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, does that, is that like a loss of jobs or something? No, you're just going to see a lot more work getting done with the same amount of people,
But yeah,
overall.
That's a great concept. I mean, I think what you point out, and it's good if AI works the way you tell me it will. I'm still on the fence.
I'm trying.
You're trying. I'm moving there. I see where you're going with it. It just, but the idea that it becomes a great equalizer, right? That
exactly.
You can take a handful of very skilled construction professionals and do what you would normally do with, a few hundred, semi-skilled guys and a bunch of mid-level managers and HR, corporate oversight, procurement office, the whole massive chain.
Right.
When you can put a lot of that into the AI space. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right, so I tell you what, whenever we have guests on, since I talk so much, I like to give them a soapbox at the end of the episode so that they can talk about something on the day's topic that I did not think to ask about. So I'm going to give Ken that courtesy as well. So what about it, Ken? What else do you think that listeners should really be thinking about when it comes to AI for the construction world?
Well, I think I'm going to do my best Lincoln Gettysburg Address imitation, or where I'm just going to say a few things, and I'll just leave people with this. Even with AI, you're still the boss. Just remember that, okay? And also remember that AI won't take your job, but somebody using AI will take your job.
Ooh. I like that.
Not a
wake a bunch of people up.
Rose-colored glasses scenario, but
yeah. But you're not wrong. That is true.
Look,
All right.
that's the way the world goes, no matter what century you're in. So
That is a great email leading quote. I like that. So everybody out there who's got AI at your companies, lead all your emails that way. All right, folks. With that, we're going to bounce out of here. But I want to thank Ken one more time for taking the time this afternoon to join us and tell you all why you shouldn't just listen to grumpy old guys like me who complain about AI. So, Ken, thank you again, sir, for taking the time and being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Jim and Rocco. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
All right. All right, folks. And with that, we are out of here, and we'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from y'all.